How's it going, everyone? Mad Spartan here, and today I'm bringing you another Contest of Champions War video. We're up against HC Professor X, which, ironically, the HC clan is like the only clan that I know, just because my alliance members know it. And this is a big war for me. It's 10 fights, which is definitely a good amount. I will be taking that entire right side and Weapon X, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be great. I do think that there was a little bit of like a bug. They did give Titania the global, and I know that in the forums, Kabam Mike said that it was supposed to happen, but you guys are going to see this. There is no possible way that this was meant to be in the game. It's impossible, because the withers count towards her fury, which you can't prevent that. So, like, you guys are gonna see, I'm gonna end like a 10-hit combo, and I'm gonna have like 22 furies, like something crazy. Just putting a wither puts that with her awakening. It's just, look at that, 5 hits, like 10 hits, 24. Look, just like that, Wiccan is dead. Like, I can't even get the words out fast enough to tell you guys that the fight is over. It's ridiculous. I was feeling so good into this war. I mean, the fact that Titania wasn't banned was another blessing to me. If any of you know anything about me, please know that I will use Titania for any fight that I can. This is another fight that obviously still goes smooth. You see the Furies just stack up. It is out of control that they did this. Even dexing, because when you're immune to the placebos, you get it. It's ridiculous. Not to mention, I guess maybe it's not something that's specified because no one who has the global is immune to buffs, but they also make it so that when she's immune to the buff of dexterity, she gets the wither. Like, as you guys can see here, I'm dexing and putting withers. I mean, the physical vulnerability is from the Spider-Man relic, which, in my opinion, is literally the greatest relic to have on her, because it's just out of control. The physical vulnerabilities stack up. She does the crazy burst. It's crazy. Next up, we have an APOC. They didn't really put anyone like useful on my path. Especially not anyone that can beat Titania, but this is the most interesting about her having the global, which tells me that there's no way that it was intended to be this way. Like, you're going to see here, he's going to throw this SP1, I'm going to block it, and then dex the last hit. And as you can see, I still put the wither on him, which means that she can beat non-global defenders with the global node, because of the fact that she's immune to the dexterity buff. Because no one, obviously, like I said before, like, no one with the global is immune to buffs, so I guess they never intended to have this. So they're definitely going to have to go back and fix it, at least this part of it. But as you guys can see, this is ridiculous. Like, she is so good. That's what makes me think that it's not going to stay like this. I mean, my other alliance members are saying that it's going to be permanent, and then they're going to ban her every war, which, let's be honest, she was getting banned either way, but this is just the nail in the coffin. Look, this is ridiculous. Like, not only can I usually take everything with her anyway, but, like, the fact that, like, I have to put even less effort into using her on her fights, it is ludicrous. It really is. So now they put an EMP abs, man. Not that it matters. I always use Titania against Absman, so there really isn't much of a difference to it. I still play him the exact same way. I punish his SP1 with a heavy, and when he gets out of that Uru form, you see like how much damage I do, and then he immediately puts it back on. So, the damage is still pretty good. Like, you see, 10k crit is pretty insane in his black Uru form, because that has like crazy physical resistance. So I am very happy about that. We're going to cash into Haymaker here, use the relic. We're going to try to get him out of Uru form first, so I'm trying to bait this SP1. We're going to hit it. Hopefully I clip him with a 5-hit combo, use the relic into SP3, and just like that, the game is already over. It is absurd how good she is. I mean, I've always known that she's good. It all started back when they were banning Spidey 2099 on my path. and he was the only buff immune that I had, so I grinded for a Titania for so long. Next up is aggressive regen Doom. Now I did bring Diablo specifically for this fight because it's just a simple parry heavy fight, or bait the heavy, then you heavy with it. Literally, I didn't need him for anything else. I literally just brought him for the one fight so that I can take a fight on each boss island. The only thing with that is, hold on. Sorry. The only thing with that was, originally when I was going into the war, I actually didn't know that I saw the thread that they made her into a global attacker, but I didn't really put it together yet. So my fights were only my path, and then the 3 people on the boss island. So it was Doom, Sasquatch, and Wong. And the thing with the Sasquatch is I was actually really nervous because I wasn't sure if I was going to get that down. It did have bubble shield and power gain SP2, so overall it was just a mess for Sasquatch, and my only option was Titania, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, as any of you really know, I use Titania for literally everything, so it was just another thing I was going to throw at her and she was going to still dominate. Sometimes I throw her at crazy stuff and she still does it, so I was a little nervous, so you'll see I'll fully boost for it. And then after I took the Wong, I texted my leader. I said, I can destroy anything with Titania, especially if they're a global defender, but they don't even have to be. So I asked to take the entire right side, and he said it was okay. It didn't matter because that means he didn't have to bring anyone for it. And then I did something stupid, a little impulsive. But, I had confidence, so, you gotta at least give me that. As soon as I finished the Mysterio on Stun Reflect, I went right to the boss, because I really felt like I can take it with Titania. And you guys will see how that goes later. But this fight, I was petrified of. I don't know what it is, I was I'm not gonna get him down in time, but then, as I was fighting the war, I realized he's a global defender, so I am going to get so many Furies. I may be able to even beat him before the Wrath of Tarnak comes out. Because if that happens, God, I'm going to lose my mind. So we already have the full Withers. I keep reapplying them, so I keep getting more and more Furies. I'm up to almost 12k on crits. It's absurd. We're just stacking them up now. At 40 Furies... The only way you can get to 40 Furies with Titania is heavying after the SP3. So the fact that you just do it on basic attacks is absurd. So right here, I pretty much go for it. Going to him, hopefully he doesn't throw the super, another 5-hit combo. Still playing ball, not to mention after I realized that it's negative 80% power after SP2, I pretty much was just laying into him. And just like that, this hard fight was obliterated. Now, for some reason, and I'm not against it because I love it, I have such a huge fan following with specifically Sandman, and I love it. I mean, obviously, I'm tailor-made more for Titania, so the fact that I don't have a community for Titania is a little crazy. But I mean, at this point, I'll take what I can get. I am having so much fun with this guy right now. As you can see here, I've talked about this Wong fight. I think I've fought him pretty much every war. I think I even fought him in the off-season a lot. I'm going to let you guys know right now, I did not play it as good as I usually do. It was a little, I don't know why it was a little more sloppy, but it was. It was not as good as it usually is. I don't know what happened. I play a little careless a lot, here. And now, as you saw in the beginning, I made him go unstoppable, which I was literally petrified of. I was so upset about it. I'm going to hit him here just to check the unstoppable, and it did come out. So now he just keeps spamming heavies. He's gaining his power gain. I was like, oh my god, this is not the way to go. So I do parry heavy him, and I'm hoping that it doesn't push him to an SP3, which just by God's grace, it didn't. I do have to block this SP2. The good thing with Sandman that not a lot of people realize is those are real resistance ups. Obviously, once they cash out to 20, you use them all, but it's a big thing. I think each one gives him like 120 resistance. So to have 20 of them, that's a lot of resistance. You know, you see here like I don't know if I ended up doing it in this video, but last video I actually ended up I do throw this SP2 here, and now I'm just petrified. So I throw that, and then I throw the relic, which he happened to not be blocking, and then SP1 into unstable, and we are good to go. The chances are I definitely would have lived for that SP3, and then I would have just retaliated anyway, but the fact that it worked out that way was even better. Now I was like, okay, you know, now I'm feeling, these aren't fights that I'm supposed to be taking, so I was like, you know, let me be okay with it. And if you wonder, like, if there's like a slight echo, I am in my bathroom because it's like 4:30 a.m. and my girlfriend's trying to sleep because she has work. But lucky for me, I don't have work, so I can do this. I was nervous a little bit. I don't really like fighting Chavez, but with the global, she's like a nothing defender again. If she happens to be unfair in throwing heavies, when you put a wither when she has a pre-existing dimension, it takes away the dimension. So there's nothing to Chavez. There's going to be no power gain on SP1. There's going to be no unblockable on SP2. So I tried to throw a heavy here just to stack up some stuff, just to try to get rid of the falter. But she didn't play into my hand, which was fine. You know, I just had to wait out the falter. Not that big of a deal, especially since they put someone here who doesn't get buffs. You know, like, the only buff that she is going to get is from the vigilance. I believe it's just 1 bar. So, you know, just like that, we waited it out a little bit and we dominated it. Now, this was another fight that my alliance members were a little nervous about just because it's Mysterio. You know, he's a pretty good defender. I did happen to dupe my 7-star, so we're using him on defense a lot. But I didn't see it going bad with Titania. I don't see anything because he's a global defender, which is literally like a death sentence again with Titania. Like, everyone I use her against is a death sentence, but this is just out of control, especially since when you're using a global attacker, as long as you have the 5 debuffs, which the little description on the global says that for every debuff is, I believe, 20% damage mitigation. So once you have 5, you end up taking 0 damage from any type of damage over time effects, which is funny because that means that what happened? Mysterio's SP1 reflection is actually considered a damage over time effect. That's why any global attacker can take hazard shift now because they're immune. Basically, you know, they take no damage from it. And just like that, Mysterio's down. I didn't want to throw the relic. You know, I know that we've been experimenting with it a little bit and, you know, figuring out what it works for. Now, I only had 2 seconds on the SP3, on the, what's it called, on the indestructible boost, but I felt as though I needed it. I did give myself the 15% attack instead of the 10% attack, which is stupid. I should have just always had the 15. But I was nervous about this fight because we were trying to figure out how it goes, and you know, I kept experimenting against Weapon X in my my roster, and every time I play him the same every single time because they used to put him on EMP a lot. So I would, you know, what I'm doing here is I try to get him around to 15 Berserker. Hopefully he has a bar. And then I end up throwing, I end up having him throw the SP1. So that automatically puts him in Berserker. Right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to get some distance. And the longer he has Berserker, the faster it goes down. So I'm just trying to kind of wait it out a little bit. Now I was able to wait this one out. And how the rotation usually goes, because they usually put them on, well, not really anymore, but they used to put them on EMP, and of course, I'm just going to make sure that Titania works on it. That's pretty much the only thing I care about. Even when she doesn't work, I make her work. Like, that's why, like, she is my favorite champ in the game. I use her for literally everything, and I have so much fun doing it. I use her for fights that don't work, and then especially when fights do work, it's just out of control. Now, because of how tanky he is and how he's Sig 200, so his Berserker cooldown is only 13 seconds instead of 20, I do have to wait out another Berserker thing, which is annoying. I do this little strategy, which, you know, obviously could come back to haunt me. I stay very close to him, as you can see. Like, I am basically like dexing light attacks. That's how close I am. And, you know, it's from a lot of practice. Like, you know, I've been slapped in the face a lot from that. And what I do is the same strategy. You wait for the Berserker to go away, and then you immediately throw your SP3 after, which usually works out pretty well. Like, as you can see there, it did work out really well. I was even able to get him to do Berserker again right afterwards. So I was able to do that. I'm always punishing the heavies to put some distance because he's full attack. So those heavies do give you a chance to like kind of slap him back and put some distance on you. That's also why her Haymaker's so good. And the Relic is just hitting for, I didn't realize until like now, the Relic is hitting for a ton. Like, it's ridiculous. I do end up going to SP2 here because when I was labbing with him to figure out if Titania could really take the boss, because I'm petrified of all those resistances that stack up, it makes the fight really hard for her. I was afraid that it wasn't going to work only because when you throw the SP3 with her, I didn't know if maybe my Titania was too weak. Like, I ended up like rank 4ing my 5-star Titania from rank 1 to figure out if it actually worked. And it did look like it worked. It worked enough for me to be like, okay, well, I think I can take this. Because when I would throw the SP3, for some reason it was giving him a regen as if he was in Berserker. Like, he was regenning 100% of the damage. Like, if you don't know, when he's in Berserker, he has 100% chance to gain a regen that heals 100% of the damage that he takes. But not in Berserker, I believe it's a certain percent. It's like a 50% chance to get a regen that heals for 40% of the damage done. So the fact that I was throwing the SP3 out of Berserker and he was still regenning all of it, like, I was a little nervous about that, but you know, it seemed to work out pretty well. That's also why I threw that SP2, because I wasn't entirely sure. So as you can see, we're making great time, but you know, it is starting to dwindle down. So like, I'm getting kind of nervous. Like, I'm figuring, do I throw the SP2? Do I go for a big SP3 to try to beat him? Because the SP3 does take off like 8 to 9% health. So, but I am in the corner, probably the worst rotation I've had against this Berserker. So I am like trying to bide my time, and that was the craziest thing, which I swear on everything was entirely on purpose. I was dexing, watching the counter, and I blocked as soon as I knew the time was going to be at 0. And just like that, with 50 seconds left, we destroyed this Weapon X boss with Titania. It felt so good getting that out. 10 fights. I loved it. You know I say it all the time, but, you know, I want you guys to know that I appreciate all the support, you know, especially the Sandman support. I didn't know that Sandman's community was so huge. I think I've gotten like at least like 35, 40 subscribers just from Sandman alone. So I could not thank him and you guys enough. But, you know, even if you start at the very beginning of my videos, like I just started, I believe, last season, like in the middle of last season. So, you know, I'm still fairly new to everything. I appreciate that you guys, you know, put comments in. It makes my day when I wake up and I get the notifications that, you know, you guys are texting and I'm able to respond to you guys. And I try to respond to everyone. As of right now, like, it's easy because there isn't so many people texting me. But I do try to get on and at least like a comment or something if I'm able to. But I'm sorry, I'm having really the issue right now. I do, like I say, like I do use Titania pretty much for everything, but now that she's going to be banned a lot, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are happy about because that means that I have to use Sandman, which I couldn't be happier about that. Yeah, you know, I'm having a good time in war. We did end up winning the last war, which was absurd how lucky we got. Just over, like, literally I could not give it anything else other than luck. The last guy died like 2 times or something like that. It was something crazy we watched. And, you know, we just got to keep pushing. I believe we're 2-2, but I don't know. I kind of just lose track of it. Right now we're on track to be winning. Last time I checked, it's like 8-1. So, you know, we're killing it. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.